second or third video got like 2 million views. And honestly, I was like, this is it. You see my videos where it changed my life.
Fergus, first off, I want to thank you for coming on, taking time out of your day to do this. I know you've scaled your theme page, Alpha Motivation. You have tens of followers. You've managed to get billions of views. Can you walk us through kind of your journey with Alpha Motivation, how you actually grew it to where it is today?
100%. So, where the idea first came, so I was actually initially doing drop shipping, but nothing to a serious level. I was just starting off. I picked my product, I built my website. I hadn't done any paid ads or organic content, but the supplier that I'd got the product from and they were gonna supply the product to the customers, they'd locked me to my website. But I built some momentum, and it was actually the versatile charger was the name of the product. You know them chargers you get where like you can charge your AirPods and your phone and your Apple Watch like all in the one, like the 3 or 4 in 1 charger. That was the product. Anyway, they locked me out, but it built some momentum, and then I was scrolling on TikTok, and I seen this motivational TikTok. It was Jorge Masvidal, the UFC fighter, talking about you want to be champion, but you go to the club on a Thursday, you go to the club on a Friday, and it just hit me for whatever reason that moment because it's built momentum. Can I make that video? So I looked up how to put subtitles on a video with no editing experience in the past. Maybe played about in school, you know, if it was like an ICT project or something, but nothing to any huge level. And then it's part of this website called Beat where you can like edit videos. And it was a really like low level software, but it done what I needed at the time. Started was like I'm gonna make videos, and back in my mind I was thinking if I can build a motivational page, potentially I could sell an econ product through it. Anyway, long story short, second or third video got like 2 million views, and instantly I was second year college at the time. I was like, this is it. And like first of all, I was making okay money in terms of like not even it was like same like a part time job pretty much, you know, monthly. But I just knew once that video went viral, I was like, this is it. Like because I was looking for something. Like I always knew I'd be successful, and I was looking for like what is it. And then as I said, even like I loved podcasts at the time, loved them motivational videos. I knew it was perfect for that role. So once that sort of secondary video came in, I was set. And in terms of how I built it, consistency first and foremost, never missed a day. I think it's come up to like 5 years since I started. I never missed one day. Christmas days, I remember I'd be like at a pre-drinks or something, I'd be like sneaking off to upload the video, like just never missed a day. I was naturally good at it. Yeah, so consistency and then obviously analysing what worked. I had a really good knack. So when I first started out motivation, back to like originality and standing out. So most motivational pages they fell short because they would see what was popping elsewhere and just like steal that clip and like do their own style. All my content was original, so I was watching like podcasts, notepad and pen, finding the moments, which was training my mind to see virality. But also people were like DMing me, like, where are you getting these clips from? It's just me doing all the reps, which serves to me now in terms of what I'm doing. So how did I build it? Originality and a very good knack for picking the music that went with it. My editing wasn't great whatsoever. I just could pick the videos of good music. It was okay, decent editing. Yeah, just analysing this, you know, once you start seeing things pick off, okay, this topic resonates, this type of video resonates, when the speaker's more recognizable, just seeing all these different traits, and that's sort of over time, that's how I grew it to 10 million, well over 10 million followers across platforms.
And you said as well, you actually went and watched all these podcasts. You didn't just go into other Instagram pages and whatnot. How did you know what was actually going to work?
I just had the natural knack. Like when I was young, I would love a good quote. Like if an older guy said a quote, I'm like, that's a cracking quote. And then even like before I did Alpha Motivation, I'd watch podcasts and there'd be like a 30, 60 second segment where I'd send to my friends, like, oh, look at the point he made there, like he was bang on, whatever. So I naturally was doing it before I done it. There was no one taught me. I just had a really natural knack of knowing this is going to resonate because there's a couple of things. There's two kind of things in terms of resonate. If it resonates with you, that's obviously a good sign. But I was also aware of the fact that like it doesn't resonate with me, but I know it will resonate with the masses. So, for example, if somebody's talking about having kids, I don't have kids, but I know what they're saying is bang on, and other parents will relate to. So I just naturally had it. I didn't like train a skill. I just naturally had that. I always knew a good quote. So yeah, as I said, I was very suited to the task.
And there's a lot of people like you like you said, you reach virality like very fast. Like your second video got a couple million views. A lot of people they don't get that, and they struggle to actually build up an audience. It takes them a long time. What would you say to somebody who is struggling to build up an audience and doesn't really know if it is going to work?
I would say there's two things. We kind of previously had a conversation, and there's obviously consistency, but then there's analysis then. I would say at least be consistent for 90 days. There's that kind of quote being like most podcasts stop after like 3 episodes, and if you get to like episode 10, you're like in the top 1%. There's some stat that sort of says that. So get to the 90 days, post every single day, and then analyze. Like one mistake people make is like they're making content. The algorithm doesn't lie, the views don't lie. Like if you post for 90 days and you're lower, like you said, like the videos aren't good enough. And just study the greats. And like also there's a couple of things, a couple of nuances here. Like study people that are performing, but also don't study them too much in terms of like if you're studying Alex Ramosi, it's Alex Ramosi. Like he can literally take a video of him sitting in the toilet, it will go viral. Like you don't study like what you kind of want to study is like low key guys and outliers that they have. So say for example they're sitting around their average views like 10k views, say short form, and one gets a million. Why was that a million? Study the greats, study what works. So be consistent first, because that's the biggest obstacle most people fall short of is not being. But once you're consistent, I don't think because you might have spent 5 hours on a video, and I get it, you put effort into it, but it might not be good. You know that might be the reality. It might not be that good. So analyze it properly, and as I said, study the greats, study what's working. Study music, study font styles, study hooks. It's all there, like it's just a bit of effort, but that's what I would say to someone that's starting and struggling to see results.
You mentioned hooks there as well, and I think hooks is a big part of videos, but I personally think that some people overvalue them in certain contexts. I might be wrong here, but do you have like a framework for videos that will actually, you're like, okay, I'm confident that this will do well?
I say hooks are important, and I know you
Okay.
they're not as important. I would say they are because the reality is if you watch someone right and you do it yourself, like you're an airport at the bus, you've watched someone scroll on their phone. When you watch someone on TikTok or Instagram Reels, they're swiping. But that's most. They'll stop at the one video, but the majority of people are just swiping. So you have 1 second to 2 seconds of their time. If you don't optimize that 1 2 seconds, they're swiping. Like the next time you see someone swiping their phone, watch them on TikTok. They're swiping. So for someone to say like, "Oh, hooks don't matter," it's like, well, the average person just swipes away. So it's like, I would say hooks are key in terms of, but then like hooks are just so hooks will bring you in. You might see sometimes this is the worst type of like videos, but they like had this hook of like I don't know, guy gets knocked out, and you watch the very end, no one gets knocked out. You're like, I just did no video, but that's a smart hook, because what it does is it opens a loop in your brain that you want to close. Or what they'll do is they'll play like a snapshot of like the highlight of a vlog. Say for example, they're like I don't know, New York subway, and there's a fight breaks out. They'll show that in the first like 2 seconds, and then they'll skip to their vlog, but you'll watch the whole vlog to get to the highlight again because they're opening that loop and then closing it. So in terms of like hook advice, would be there's different types of hooks. There's obviously like an audio hook in terms of like you say something in the first 2 seconds, it's like that opens that curiosity. Visually you see something. So there's audio or there's text, you read something. And a good kind of thing retention base is like you'll see these like brain rot videos where it's like the GTA footage or the Minecraft footage in the video. That's just pure psychology. They're hijacking your brain. Like you're seeing the video as a podcast or whatever, you're just watching the two things. So having like multiple things on the screen, because your brain's just processing. Like if people see something that just looks flat, it's swipe because you're fighting against their attention. So in terms of like you asked, oh that's the hook, it's saying something. Like for example, that motivation made a Kevin Gates one. It was a pretty powerful. It went really super viral. It's probably got like 20 million views on TikTok. It's a pretty dark topic, but he was like, if somebody touches my daughter, I'll kill them. First line, that's a perfect hook. It's like you're watching that video, like what's he talking about? And then he goes off, and Kevin Gates is recognizable. He's on Shannon Sharp's podcast. He's recognizable, but saying something that you're like, he's got my attention, and we could break down the science of it. But it's something you just know. Like it could be even in a general conversation, somebody says something, you're like, okay, you've got me. Like the thing, you know what virality is, right? Virality is extracting emotion. And it could be like, you could watch a video and be pissed off, you could watch a video and be laughing, you could be watching like any emotion. You don't want to be indifferent. Indifference is the enemy, because if you feel nothing, you'll swipe on. So whatever that 2 seconds is, evoke emotion. And then like, so what virality is, so you have average watch time, and then you have like share. So whatever video just whether it produces anger, whether it's laughter, sadness, inspiration, motivation, whatever, their judges, whenever video gets posted, it'll share it to like 200 people. Depending on how their interactions are, like if they see a good view to like interaction, like so likes, comments, so whatever content you've made, you've generated likes, comments, whatever, so you've actually got someone to physically do an action on the video or stayed long enough to watch the video. So what you're doing is you're evoking emotion. So you're hooked. You want to build that curiosity. You want to open that loop for them to stay on.
And you're talking a lot about the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
What is the kind of the biggest psychology lesson that you've learned that actually corresponds into content strategy?
It is that open loop curiosity for short form. Like we do long form now, but even long form, like every long form video on YouTube you watch, they'll have like a 30-second intro, and they'll big up the whole video. We're going to be in this, going through this, going through this. So you're building that curiosity. So it is that sort of open loop, because we are wired as humans. Like, say for example, I don't know, you see a potential fight in I don't know, say like a few hundred meters away, you'll want to go to see, check it out. It's just wired within us. So it is opening that curiosity, the psychological element. Another side of that is then when it's happening is the attention span is so short. So if you watch like high performer content, so even if you watch like reality TV, like if you're ever watching, not that I watch this stuff, but if it's ever on TV, like the Kardashians for example, see if that's on TV, you'll see it's like frame change, frame change, frame change, and that's just psychology. So even if you watch like a high performer, it'll be like zoom out, zoom in, frame change, and all it is just consistent changes, so your brain doesn't get bored. So obviously that hook element of opening, that open the loop for curiosity. But then whenever it's there, it's like I always tell editors of mine who work for me, is like you're editing from a perspective of when do I lose the viewer. If you're watching the video back and you're like, when do I lose him, and there's a moment I've lost him here, there's a 2-second pause, or there's filler words, that goes. Like it has to be like bang, 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 bang. That's sort of the psychological element, so that you don't give them a reason to swipe off the video.
And because people are so like, they only have 2 seconds, where it's a filler word, like you said, whatever that may be, do you think that's only happened in recent years because of TikTok and Instagram, and everyone's so well, not everyone, but a lot of people have like serious dopamine problems? Do you think that that's the cause of it?
I think it's definitely a huge factor. I think just everything's far more convenient. Even Amazon, you press buy with one click and it delivers to your door. Everything's just super convenient. So just our patience in general is just out the window. Social media has played a huge form. TikTok came in 2019, 2020. It's changed the game. All the major platforms have adapted Reels, YouTube Shorts. I'm not 100%. Like you'll find yourself, even I find myself like I'm in the game. You're watching a movie, or I don't even watch movies. I never really have, or like TV series, because I don't know. I sit down and watch them. I feel like I'm a bit of a waster. I'm like, you need to be doing something. What are you watching this movie for? Yeah, no, 100%. It's played a huge role in the fact that if you're not getting instant dopamine, like even the whole term of like delayed gratification, like we want instant gratification, even through I was saying with the last day too. I see it's a really smart feature, because the whole purpose of these apps, right, is to keep you on the app. That's the whole purpose. So even I thought they were just recently, I don't know what it was, like likes to your stories. But that's remember when there wasn't likes on stories? Like you didn't really care, but now when you post a story and you get likes, dopamine. And then if you don't get likes, you're like, oh, this story didn't get X amount of likes, it mustn't mean it's good or whatever. But that's all they're doing, is hijacking your brain chemistry to stay on the app. So 100% social media's played a huge role in everyone wanting instant gratification, which then seeps into other things, but also just the mad convenience of everything. Mobile phones weren't even a thing 30, 40 years ago. So yeah, over time with technology, and even with AI now, AI is crazy. You can you literally have an accountant, a lawyer at your fingertips. You can write a contract in 2 seconds or whatever you want with it. It's just mad convenience, to where that natural patience, which is a good thing to have, is out the window. But definitely.
You touched on as well the movies. I found myself a couple of times, you almost feel like you're being productive by watching a movie, and you're like, oh my god, I need to fix something here. And as well, how do you utilize AI for your content strategy?
Yeah, so a couple of things is so even with that motivation, when I had scale on that, which I didn't really mention, was I brought on my older brother because I wanted to build the agency, because obviously I was just starting to do both because it was taking time and it was being spread thin. So I was teaching him how to like see the virality, because as I said, I had a natural talent for it, like a natural knack just to see it. So he didn't have the same natural knack, but like um, speaking to Finn here, he's a videographer just behind the camera, and I was saying that like in business you'll be naturally good at things. Maybe you build a business around that, but you can't scale if, like, say for example, you open a coffee shop and you make the best baked buns and you hire someone and they make them like 70% of the style you do it, and you're like, oh no, these can't go out, it's less than me. It's like you're never going to scale your business because you're always stuck in the weeds. You're always making the perfect bun, and the bun might be fine with most of the customers. So I trained him up, like Oscar, my younger brother, to see what I was seeing in terms of rather than map out the process, and he got better over time. So now with AI, we're training an AI to do it. We drop in the YouTube like podcast, and it comes, and we're reiterating and we're doing it. So that's one thing that we're building, which will be a game changer for us, because we're literally putting human hours into like watching clients' podcasts, long form content, or even with Alpha Motivation, others' podcasts. So that's one thing. AI for everything. Like I use Manus a lot recently. It's not ChatGPT Manus. It like creates presentation. It's fantastic. It does like full. Like I've got the information and I just feed the information. That makes it decorates a full, nice, professional. Like ChatGPT gives you the information, but you've got to copy and paste it in the Google Slides and then make it all pretty. Whereas Manus just does the whole presentation for you. So yeah, I'm using it all the time, pretty much, to like for proposals for clients, for presentations for clients. I said anything. I've actually got an AI guy within my business that anything we can automate, we automate. Even for example, we were having meetings and I was saying there was an issue with, I'd say to do things on the meeting to people that work for me and they wouldn't get done. So we have an automation now whenever, because every meeting's recorded, once a meeting's recorded, AI will take the transcript and then send an email and a Slack message to everyone saying, here's your task off the back of the meeting. So they can't come to me now and say, didn't know what I was doing. It's like, it's there in black and white. Anything that we can automate or enhance, we're using.
And you're talking as well about, you mentioned like your clients' podcast, and you're mentioning your clients. When you say clients, like what do you actually mean by that, and how do you structure a business around what you do?
Yeah, so we're kind of, and I was sort of speaking to you before we went live there, right? I'm now building my agency, which has given me a lot of, inspiration and just drive. Is I think, right, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, is that social media, in terms of the biggest names on there, is like influencers and course sellers, and more power to them, each of their own, do whatever you want. But the true like founders, entrepreneurs, leaders aren't on there. Like even if you say you School of Hard Knocks, for example, check their social medias, you make it dog guys, but most of them don't have a huge profile. So now our agency, we're targeting them guys, and we're going to build their whole social media, short form and long form for them. The only thing we don't do is we can't go out and film for them currently, but I plan to get that in place because I want it to be like fully done for you. So one of my clients' pockets, yeah, I have. Apologies about that.
You're fine.
So yeah, I have clients that, like one of my clients is $1 billion a year in revenue, for example. We do all the social media content for them. So when we're asking my clients, they're on podcasts, they're successful people. So we go in, we find the best moments, we take them, make really good edited short form. I'm not just saying this, we're the best content agency in the game. I tell the guys that, but we are. Like we sit there, we hop on once a week, we analyze all the results. Like I've got the 5-year history of Alpha Motivation. There's not many content agencies that have the background that I have in terms of building a page to 10 million followers across all platforms. So yeah, clients, we do they have podcasts that they're on, or they may film long form content, but then they also will film specific short form content as well, which we guide, script. Some people don't like scripts, but we work with whatever the client wants. But yeah, they podcast, and then we go in, we find the best moments and clip it up for short form content.
I think you're spot on with what you said there as well, about so much of the very high status entrepreneurs and people who are doing very well for themselves aren't well known at all. Like you said, like the likes of James Doonan with School of Hard Knocks. Like I don't know half of the lads who he's interviewing, but yeah, they're still doing so well for themselves. So with people who don't have that much of a social presence already, how do you actually go outreach to them and actually attract them into your business as clients?
So this is the beautiful thing about building something massive. So even this is a really good example. So a copywriter that kind of works with me seen like a job post of a guy that owns 100 million plus golf business, and he was looking for not just an editor, but also somebody who understood virality, understood how to build a profile. He sent me the link, so I went to find this guy on Instagram to DM him. He was the CEO of the company, and I went on Alpha Motivation, searched his name. He follows Alpha Motivation, so all these like CEOs and whatever. No, not all of them. Like LeBron James follows the page, for example. Kim Kardashian followed the page for a couple of years. She doesn't follow him anymore, and that was a bit of a flex if I was ever talking to someone. Like, don't say something cool. More so women, guys would like the LeBron one. But, yeah, so like I have the Alpha Motivation. So if I DM off a 4.4 million follower Instagram account, it's like, well, proof's in the pudding. So that's a bit of an advantage for me. But you would be surprised. These guys have low key profiles. So even if we didn't have that page, I still would be DMing them or trying to find their email. The competition's never been as weak. Like, as I said, I have that in my, and I built it over the last 4 or 5 years. So like I've earned the right to have that luxury. But even if I didn't have it, so for example, there's a setter I'm training up currently. We have like a 3K follower account that I have him on, and he's doing DMs and he's booking calls through that account because it's just more like training for him. I don't trust him yet to give him the keys to the big account yet. So he's booking calls from that. Now we obviously have the Alpha Motivation. He can say we've built that, like, so that's there as well. But like what's that Hermosi like 100 rule thing where there's 100 DMs a day, where there's 100 pieces of content, or so yeah. Instagram DMs. We don't really do, like, honestly, my main focus, we have like, we charge a really good price. So I'm actually really wondering about the AI, trying to systemize and automate things to where we can scale, because I could bring on more clients. So here's a couple of things. I can bring on more clients. Like, I had a guy that was like pretty successful, wanted me to help build a SaaS, but I don't care about SaaS. I care about building personal brands. I care about impact. Even off Motivation, it was always impact. Money would come second. Even you asked me, I was saying we've got a videographer filming personal brand stuff. He's like, do you want to monetize it? I was like, I don't want to monetize it. I want to have impact. Even this agency, like, we will make money, granted, but it's impact. It's always been impact. That's always what's driven me, and that's why I'm kind of hooked. If someone comes to me and be like, oh, we'd love you to do social media for our SaaS, I don't get any fire about it. I don't want to do it. But if I have a guy that does $1 billion a year in revenue or 100 million a year in revenue, he's like, I want to build a personal brand, and he's a cool guy, and he's in America, and he's got a cool life, and I'm like, that's a potential mentor, that's a potential relationship. I'm like, absolutely, like, let's get your voice to the masses. I've got the skill set, your skill set with my skill set will kill it. So I'm focused on a certain kind of personnel, and yeah.
And you were saying there as well, I think this is savage. As Kim Kardashian, LeBron James fan, I feel like that's a good one to have down the local, a bit of a flex as well. And for you mentioned there that you don't actually care, and we touched on it before we started, that you're doing it for impact. You said you don't really care about getting clients. That's why you're doing the personal brand. What's the goal? Like, when you say impact, what is the ideal impact, or how do you want to inspire people?
Yeah, I suppose Alpha Motivation was kind of my first crack at the whip, and I didn't obviously do too bad with it. It's honestly just to motivate and inspire. Like, generally, it's going to be like a force for good. Like, I think the purpose of life is to serve. And with social media, like, we actually were creating like organic content, like sort of AI voice, it's really highly edited stuff for our agency. And it's like, before, right, say you had wisdom, you'd done, like, I built that motivation and I want to share that wisdom. You would write a book, and maybe, like, the 0.01% it would be successful, but if not, maybe it got read like 100 times or 1,000 times. Like, most books would be in, like, 99% would be in that bracket, maybe 100 to 1,000, if no one bought the book. So you have to be in the top 1% to get, to serious levels. Now you have social media, you've got one reel can hit 1 million people. Like, you never had that access. And now with that access, I want to use it for good. As I said, I want to get, as you said, get the true entrepreneurs, the true founders. Like that founders podcast people listen to, for example, get them folks on social media. And that's the thing about when you're good at what you do. Like, advice I always give is, like, be good at what you do and be likable, and the world's your oyster. So I believe we're the best at what we do. We're going to partner with the best in terms of entrepreneurs and bring them to it. But back to your question about impact, it's like, yeah, it's just, there's a couple of things. I know if never chase money. Like, I'm chasing, like, success, I'm chasing greatness, I'm chasing impact. I know money will come with that. I'm chasing value, because the marketplace will pay you up the value that you bring. And, like, if I can bring insane amount of value and impact, it'll just come as a byproduct. Money isn't really the goal. Obviously there isn't. You have a business, and money's like the main kind of measuring stick for a business. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, there's some entrepreneurs that just love money, and, like, they work 3 jobs to get money. I was never that guy. Like, I knew I was going to be successful and whatever else, and I knew I would make money, and I knew I'd have, but I never was like, doesn't get me out of bed. Like, I wouldn't do stuff I wouldn't want to do for money, if that makes sense, or some would.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, in terms of impact, yeah, it's just being a positive force for the world and serving. As I said, like, what it gets me going, as I have clients, I hop on, you know, weekly calls with clients. They're like, went to this college basketball game, and they see my videos. They're like, you've changed my life. That gets me going. That gets me fired up. Like, we're literally changing people's lives with the content, with the clients. And even Alpha Motivation, one of my clients is Alpha Motivation, like, being brutally honest, and I know the impact we're having, but sometimes it's numbers on a screen. Like people like us, 4.4 million followers on Instagram, and it's just a number to me. Like, I don't even think of like the statue of, like, that's a full country, like, you know, in terms of the size. But, you know, one of my clients is, you don't understand, your videos like literally change someone's trajectory. Like, they watch one of your videos and they could have been like a potential drug addict that just watched one video, and I don't really, sometimes you forget about that, but you're just serving the world and making the world a better place.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing as well. I think it's so hard to conceptualize 4.4 million followers. Like, that's shy. That's close enough to the population of Ireland. I think that's a really good point. And you're talking about, like, how you don't care as much about money, and you just want greatness and impact. If you were 80 years old, like, what do you want to be remembered as? What do you want to be known as?
So I think my belief, my perspective is, you've got two purposes. One is to have kids. That's my belief. And then the other one is to serve. I hope I don't even have kids yet, but I hope I'm remembered as a great father. Hopefully I have kids, God willing. I don't have them, but outside of that, there would be, I serve as many people as I could. Like, I think as men as well, like, you're meant to protect and provide, you know, as a man. I just wish that I provide, whether it's financially helping people off that are less off, but even if it's just through content or whatever avenue it is, even if it's books, or it's just to serve. Like, he went to serve the world and try to leave the world in a better place than what he came into it.
Wow, that's a really nice way of putting it. I like that. That's really nice. I want to touch on, we briefly touched on it at the start as well. You've mentioned you kind of have editors, you have setters in place. What does your team look like? And if I'm starting a team page and I'm seeing a bit of success, where should I hire first?
Good question. So I delegated very late. Like, I had at least like 3 million on, you know, Instagram, and I don't know, whatever it was, like 7, 8, 9 million across platforms. Because I didn't realize, like, I was making good money. I was making, I don't know, 15, 20K a month. No, the thing is too, is like, all the money's going to you because you've no employees. That's nice, but you realize, like, you have all the pie, but the pie's small. Like, if you have a bigger pie and even you're taking the slice, you'll be making more. So if you're building a theme page, what would your first hire be? Is an editor. Hire somebody overseas that you can pay far less than somebody Western. Like, no disrespect, but, you know, yeah, an editor. And then if you can get the editor, so obviously whatever your niche is in the theme page, for example, get a good editor that's making the videos that you making them, and then if you can also train them up to then, like, see, like, most people don't do what I done in terms of watching podcasts. They don't. Like, that's why I was so successful, because I walked the path that wasn't walked. So, and you can have success without doing that, by the way, as well. You can just, like, see what's performing and just steal that idea, take that clip and podcast. But if you can then train that editor to see the clips, and then, like, you could fully get that editor to run the page for you. Because people always ask me, like, did you do multiple pages? Because most guys have multiple. I had the one, just Alpha Motivation, which is probably why I grew it to where it was, because all my focus was on Alpha Motivation. So in terms of, like, first hire, you ask me what my team looks like too. First hire would be an editor. Yeah, my team is still quite small. So I have myself, I have my younger brother. He runs Alpha Motivation, but he's an agency as well. He's on the ground with the editors. And I have a content strategist. I've got a VA, and we've like 10 to 12 editors. Well, the team will grow. Like, I will get a customer success manager, stuff to do with clients, and we'll grow it out. But I'm really focused on, like, to me, brand's everything. Like, I really care about my clients. Like, we haven't lost one client. We lost one client, and it was more financial on their end. Like, it wasn't that they weren't, like, they bowed it after like 3 weeks, but everyone else, since I've kind of, because I was last I say prior to maybe like October or prior to September, August, I was doing content for everyone, which wasn't a bad thing. Like, work with different clients, see what you like, see what you don't like, get skin in the game. Like, there's no harm in doing that. But then now I'm fired up with these founders. But since I've kind of understood what I want to do, we haven't lost nobody. That's because we deliver a really good service. So I'm focused on service delivery. Like, I don't want to expand too much where, like, say the service 10 out of 10 and we send like a load of clients and the service drops slightly. Like, reputation. As I say, you're dabbling into these like high-end entrepreneurs. They could know each other potentially, and like, we hired Fergus, he was shocking. Like, I want people to have like a really high opinion of what I do. So we'll scale the team as we need to scale it. But yeah, first hire for a theme page would be an editor, I would say.
You said as well there, talking about just like your reputation and word can spread. I think one thing that's really important that I've learned throughout all these podcasts that I've done is that ultra successful, well, not ultra successful people, but people who are doing very well for themselves, they start off optimizing for the long term. Whether that be they work for someone for free, even the likes of you, you're still profiting, but you weren't actually after money. And I think that's a really, really important part of it. A lot of people, especially in today's age with like the likes of dopamine, you see these guys driving fast cars, 10K per month. So much people get sucked into that. I think that's a big, big problem as well. So I definitely think you're right with what you're saying there.
I think long-term thinking is huge. And also back to that sort of instant gratification and, waiting for the gratification. I think if you think, and Finn actually asked me, the videographer behind that asked me, like, what's your sort of 10-year plan? I didn't know it, to be honest. I know where I want to be maybe in a year's time, but I don't know, like, 5 years, 10 years. But as I said to you before, like, so like you see online, it's like, oh, I've hit my first 100K a month, I've hit this figure a month. And that's like, whatever gets you going is fine. But I could sit there, for example, and sign clients, and then on paper I'm making more money, and I could go online and say I'm making X amount per month. But like long term, like, brand's everything. Like, I want people when they come to us know it's a premium service. So it is, like, as I said, scaling correctly. And if someone could sit and say to me, there could be an argument being like, Fergus, you should have like so many clients. You're going to obviously burn insurance some, but you're going to learn more. And there's different strokes for different folks, and that could be a strong case potentially. Just say as many clients as possible. If you do it per service, that's just a service-based industry. Like, you're not going to get a great service for everyone. But I don't really like that. I like the fact, like, even what we do is limited partnerships. Like, they're selecting us, but we're also selecting them. Like, the people, we're selecting you. Like, we're looking at you like, yeah, that's someone we want to build content for. Our services aren't open to everyone. So yeah, I think that long-term thinking really plays off well in terms of, as you said, and delivering a good service. Whereas if it's like, if the goal is to hit X figure, and I said there's nothing wrong with having financial figures. I have financial, targets I want to hit. But if it is financial, you can do anything for money. Yeah, we'll take this client, this client, this client, and it can steer you off. You can be going different directions, and like the service itself isn't that great. So I do think having that kind of long-term thinking and thinking about your brand and your reputation definitely matters.
When you give so much as well, people will feel like it's almost like a psychological thing. Like, if I'm giving you so much, I'm delivering so much. Like, it's almost like, all right, I have to. I have to have you as somebody who's working for me. Like, I can't not have you. I think that's a really good point as well. It's just whether you're working for free for a while or whatever it may be, but just over deliver so much and just have your product as a premium product as well.
Yeah, no, you're bang on. Another thing too to add, so like, there's two kind of factors in play whenever you have a service-based business. Is obviously the service you deliver, but also, do they like you? The part of the thing of like, be the best at what you do and then be likable. Building them relationships as well, and as you say, over delivering, and they can see that like Fergus is working his ass off for us. Like, they'll feel the effort. Because one of the things which gets me excited, there's a lot of bad talent agencies. Like, we've hopped on with like folks that have spent like 250 grand and like they've over promised, under delivered, and then they're like kind of wary of us, and I'm like, we're not that type whatsoever. So even that, but even the social media, sometimes it can be a bit up and down. Say you have a bad week or whatever, which can obviously happen on social media. If they really like you and they can see the time you're putting in, they'll stick around. Or say you're doing like a really good job, but they can't stand you. At any point where they can replace you, they will. So like, them actually liking you and building that relationship is nearly more important than the service. Like, obviously the service matters because deliver our results. But back to like delivering, like building that relationship. So for example, all my clients are based in the US. Next month I'm going to the US to meet them all in person to cement that relationship. And maybe, I don't know, maybe like, 6 months time I'll be based in the US because all my clientele is there. But building that relationship is definitely key as well.
Mm, mm. And as well, you've said this a couple of times. You said like, I always knew I was going to be successful. Where did that come from? Like from a young age, like if you're 14, 15, like most people don't think like that. Where did that belief set come from?
Like, I'm not trying to be cocky. I was born with it. Like from a very I mean like 5, 6, I had it. I was probably a bit, the fact that we were in Ireland and like Gaelic was the main sport because most young guys it's something athletic, and just to have it was Gaelic. And I remember when I was like 14, I made the Tyrone under 14 team, and my dad wasn't really a big gal man. He'd really almost like joke about families or people that were like really obsessed with it in a way. Like he's seen the point, but he wasn't like a pure. And then he would tell me being like they're like obsessed with it, but there's no like really end route to it. Like obviously you play for a county, and it's playing for a county is like a great achievement. But like I always was thinking like I'm gonna have a huge like impact, but his sort of influence of kind of saying it kind of maybe scared me a bit off it because I know most players who play Gaelic, for example, like their dads are a huge influence. The dad's pushing them. I'm not going to be
Mm.
good at that, depending on the father. But not to say like it didn't really. I'm kind of glad things worked out the way they worked out. But back to your question of like I just always had it. Like I was speaking to like a few guys. Speaking to a friend of mine, Cammy, he was like 21 and he was a tradie and he like made money off crypto and it like blew his limitations on money, being like I just made X amount in a quick time. But I always knew I'd be successful from a very young age, and I never had like a people might have like parents or might have like a coach to say like you can. I never had that. Like I would have been decent at sport growing up, so I would have like you played well and good player, but I wouldn't have someone like you're from Ireland, like you don't really have that like American go chase your dreams type attitude, which I didn't really need. I just was born with it. God maybe blessed it within me, but I just knew that I would be successful from a young age. My whole thing was, what is it? What is a success?
Mm.
So that's the motivation thing. When I got that first 2 million view video and it was like motivation, I was like, this is it. Like I was like, this is. I don't. It's not going to be the be all and end all, but it's the start of a path. I didn't know the next step. Sometimes it's a good thing. You don't know your next step. Like it's the path, but you don't. That's a good thing. I think at times. But I just always had it from a very young age. Yeah, no one told me. I just had it. So as someone that doesn't have it, like, and you can people just like so say people have like one thing that so even for example when you're picking your degree for university, I got good grades in school, but I've never had a full time job. I knew 9 to 5 was never for me, so I went completely off the traditional route. I thought I was going to be the next Jose Mourinho. I thought that because that's the thing. I was like trying to find that what's the next thing. So I went to Southampton in England, do like a football coaching degree thing. I'll go there. I'll network, learn the sport, learn the tactics. I'll start coaching my way up the coaching ladder, and I'll work my way up. And then I remember when I done it, like my dad was like thought I was completely nuts, completely disapproved, like waste of a intelligent lad, Mickey Mouse degree. Like what is this? And like not that to be disrespectful, most people that do football coaching degrees don't really amount to much. To be fair, but I said like I tried to tell him, and he'll about even when I was like 18 and stuff. I would tell him, be like look at the likes of Conor McGregor, like I'm going to be huge. Like I didn't know what it was, but I was like I couldn't. I was like I'm going to be whatever. I just couldn't find the vehicle for it. But I said most people have that. Maybe like I don't know, they wake up hungover one time and think, "F this," there's more to life. I never had that. Like I just always knew it. It was just a matter of me finding what path it was, and then thankfully, as I said, like even when people say people are starting out, and you said a lot of your audience is like 17, 18, and maybe at the start of their journey is do something. Like I didn't think about motivation. I was doing this drop shipping thing, and then the door closed, and then I pivoted, and then I'd done this thing that took me to here. But if I hadn't started the drop shipping thing, I didn't take the nous to go on and do it, I wouldn't have got to where I am now. So just do something. Yeah, but I've always had that kind of inner belief.
As well, I think just doing something is bang on and just failing fast. Just failing
Oh,
fast, just getting the reps in so that you can be like, okay, this doesn't work, this isn't right for me. But now I'll move on to the next thing. But now I know, okay, at least you become more valuable because you know what works, what doesn't. I think that's such an underrated thing as well. I myself, I was like 13, 14 at first getting into the online space. It took me so long. I was trying an agency for a while, very inconsistently. But I think I researched it for like 6 months, or 8 months. And it's just like, just go in, just be head over heels, just overwhelm yourself with work and just fail fast as well.
100%. And like as I said, I pivoted, and also like you can pivot. Like if you just think this is not for me or whatever else. But once you kind of find something that kind of is for you, just stick at it, no matter what. route you choose or endeavor, there's going to be that 6 month to 1 year slog. Everyone goes
Yeah.
through it. Like, there's very rarely a get rich quick scheme. Find your feet, but once you're kind of in a lane, just to get long enough to where you get good at it. And as I said, if you're the best at what you do, it's not that hard to be the best at what you do, because the competition is so weak. Like, if you literally give it your all in whatever endeavor it is, you will become the best, and then just be likable, and then sell your services. And then, like Hermosi always says it, and what I'm going to sell to rich people. They pay more, they're better clients. But get good at the skill, whatever that skill is. It could be videography, it could be editing, it could be cold email, it could be ads, whatever it is. Become, and it's just reps, it's just repetitions. Get the reps in, learn, reiterate, study, analyze, study the best marketers, study the greats. Even back to study if you're short form content or theme page, study the best videos. Where are they performing? Study the outliers. Just study, learn, and then do yourself. Get results, get feedback. But yeah, just stick with it long enough. And the thing is, too, is like, you're asking about value and impact. Rowan, who I love, has a really good quote where he's like, become a millionaire not for the having the million, for the person you become in pursuit of the million. And that's all it is. It's the person you become in pursuit of the goal. So I'm always just pushing. So like, the marketplace will only pay, the value that you're bringing to the marketplace. So just increase your value, and that's doing more skills, expanding out. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're bang on. It's just keep at it and keep building skills, make yourself valuable, and people will pay you. The more valuable you get, people will pay you more.
I think you're spot on as well when it comes to, it's not because of the million, but it's because of the person who you become. One thing I've learned is how important, like, even like subconscious mind and your internal is your beliefs as well. Like, what do you believe to be true? Because you will act in accordance to whatever you believe to be true. You're subconsciously biased to do so as well. I think that's a really, really good point as well that you made.
So like, I've completely switched my leadership style. Coming from like a sporting background, kind of masculine, is like, you're kind of coached to be like, if there's mistakes, you tell them off. Why'd you do that? Why'd you drop the ball? Why'd you whatever? And I kind of had that, like, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, and because I was naturally good at what I was doing, if someone didn't do it at the level that I wanted, but I've completely changed that to where, like, as a leader, you're meant to develop the person. So it doesn't matter what level somebody is in my business, I'll hop on with a call with them. I'll ask them, what's your dream? Like what's your, like, most, retired parents and whatever else. And then once I get their dream, I want them to build their dream within my dream. And then I tell them what I do. So like, even my daily regiments is, before I start work, I have gratitude affirmations and a to-do list. And the gratitude is just to keep me grounded. Like, no matter what, money, financial, business, whatever else, like, you have the bare necessities. Like, be thankful for that's a great way to start the day. And then affirmations is then. Affirmations is huge for me because everyone uses it. Even like a compulsive liar. A compulsive liar believes his lies because he says it so much. He tells the same lie every time, so he just believes it. Same with fighters. Fighters will coach themselves or train themselves. Like, McGregor was great at this, but like, they're the champion before they're the champion, and they've coached their mind. They've almost hypnotized themselves to believing they're the champion, and then they act, they train, they eat, they sleep like the champion. So they are the champion before they become the champion. So you become the person you want to be, to where the universe or God, whatever you believe in, just gives it to you. It's already happened. You're already in that state, and then you attract the desired state to you because it's got no other choice. So I sit there and tell them, being like, right, you want to be the best editor. I'm giving business advice, being like, right, you're going to be limited on time. An editor of mine, I says, go find editors, train them up. I'll consistently give you work. You can delegate them the work to them. You can take a percentage of whatever they're getting paid, because you're going to be limited if you're just editing yourself. So I'm trying to give them some business advice and stuff. I'm trying to build them up. And even from a leadership standpoint, is if I can change their lives, even if they only work for me for 2-3 years, and be like, Fergus just wasn't, an entrepreneur. He wasn't just my boss. He actually changed my life. So sitting on the call with them and mapping out, what you're saying about belief and affirmations and believing it. I try to do that for everyone who works with me, and having that one-to-one, where one, you get that loyalty, but two, I care about people. Like, one of my favorite questions to ask people is, what's your dream? Like, people don't get asked that, because one of the recent guys I asked that, he was like, thanks for asking that question. No one's asked me that. Because some guys have said to me they have a dream, and it's not to do with my business. And I'm like, some guy said, I want to have he's from India, and he says, I want to have a medicine business tech startup. And I says, I want you to be successful, whether it's with me or without me. Like, I'm not scarcity mindset. Like, I'm abundance mindset. He's like, first year university, and he's going to do work with me for a couple of years, and maybe like he said, potentially if things work out, he could stay with me. But I says like, whatever it is, I want you to be successful. If it's with me, fantastic. If it's not, you're with me now. Let's make the most of it. But I hope you be successful regardless. And if you ever need me, I'm there for you. So yeah, I'm trying to get that, instill that. This is what I'm doing, trying to instill that in them, because they'll show up better if they get, because they can't be the best editor in the world and then be like a a dickhead son or a bad brother. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So getting them in the right mindset, abundance ways, to no matter what they do, to where they'll show up to their work and they'll perform far better.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. And what you said as well, I can tell it as well from talking to you, is that you actually just care. You actually just care about the people. I think that's a really, really good trait in strong leaders as well. I think it's really underrated as well, because if you're going to work, where it's an office and you're happy to be there, you're going to work to the best of your ability. You're going to give it your all, because you know the people, regardless of the work that you're doing, whether you like the work or not, but it's the people who you have with you and the people who you surround yourself with.
No, 100%. You could work the worst job in the world, but if the environment's right, you'll love it. And you could have the best job in the world, but if the environment's wrong, like you don't like your colleagues or whatever it is, you'll hate it. But back to that leadership thing, a good thing, obviously there's business, there's really good entrepreneurs, and you should study the greats no matter what niche that you're in. Study the best entrepreneurs, but even from like a leadership standpoint, study like the best coaches. Like even back to that visualization type thing in terms of leadership. You're Irish. Like I always look at someone like Jim McGuinness, Donegal. Like people don't realize when he first came into Donegal that they were like one of the worst teams in Ireland. And his first meeting that he had with the team, he was like, "You're going to have an All-Ireland medal in your back pocket." He was so charismatic, but they thought like this guy's crazy. But they also, the way he was saying, they almost believed him. And he would just remind them every single training session that you're going to have that in the back pocket, and just completely hypnotizing them. And like obviously they didn't put in the work to match the belief. So even like I'm not lying. I think we're the best content agency in the world, and I remind them that when we're meetings, it's like we're the best. Like we are the best, and I'm not saying that to like almost like fake it. Like I genuinely believe it. I'm saying it, and they believe that I believe, and they also believe it as well. But also dropping that belief in them, and what you said too is like I was blessed that I had that inner self belief. Most people don't have it, so even having somebody like myself who's maybe above them, because even one guy was like, "Oh, I've seen your Instagram and like the life that you're living, and I want to have this." There's nothing stopping me from having that. Like there's nothing. I'm trying to break that limiting belief. And people don't really have that figure that's maybe ahead of them that takes that, because people are always looking, maybe you know yourself, you like at work and I find mentors and stuff, and it's probably not as hard as you think if you actually go out searching for them, but like in a weird way I do want to mentor them and I do care about them, and I want them to succeed, and it's such a healthy energy to have. So yeah.
Yeah, really good points, Fergus. Really good points. And you mentioned there as well, marketers, like study the greats. If I'm looking to start my personal brand, if I'm looking to seriously dominate the content strategy, and today I want to start studying people, what do I do? Who do I study? What do I look out for?
The first thing is, right, if you study the greats, back to the whole long-term thinking, take Hormozy or take Patrick Bet-David, take whoever you want to take. They're where they were, but they started 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. So it's going to be this is a marathon here. This is a 10-year stretch. So get used to that fact. And then who do you study? As I said, do you study what videos are they making? But also a lot of them guys are the personal brands when they had value to bring. So even for myself, like I've built Alpha Motivation, so I would be somewhat of an authority in terms of social media. I'm not to say like I think there's the real beauty in like documenting the journey, and like if you're a beginner saying like, I'm not going to be a beginner, don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to document. There's real value to that. So I would say just be in it for the long haul. Study what the best are doing, what types of content is performing. Like one thing that we're finding is something when you're starting off, because you don't have the resources, you don't have the maybe equipment and stuff like that there, but like organic stuff's really working in terms of like the fly on the wall stuff. Like you going, hey, my name's Fergus, welcome, that doesn't really work. But if the camera just drops into like a mid conversation and the viewer feels like, oh, I'm in the middle of this even if you see Hormozy stuff now, it's his speaking conferences or it's his like boardroom table talks. And it's really intimate. You're like, oh, I'm actually inside Hormozy's boardroom stuff. And obviously, if you're starting at a very low level, you're not going to have that stuff. But even that behind the scenes organic stuff is really working. But yeah, realize it's going to be a long stretch, and the best in the game, it took them 7, 8, 9, 10 years to get there. So you're in it for the long haul. And if you're in it for the long haul and you're consistent and you're analysing, you're studying the greats, like study anyone. What's your niche? What's your, and then who's what are they doing? What's the best in your niche doing? And then how you can sort of have a unique standpoint in terms of like what's your unique spin? Is it the fact that you're Irish? Is it the fact that you come from a rough background, or what stands you out, or whatever else? But yeah, what's your niche? Study it. And as I said, you can always pivot too if you switch up niches. But as long as you're in for the long run and you're consistent and you analyze and you study, that's all. It sounds so basic, but that's all it is. Like anyone, you'll chat to like these most successful people, and they're like, "What's the secret?" And then they'll tell you, like, "Is that it?" It's like that's it. Like there's no like
Yeah.
there's no secret, magic sauce. Like, it's hard work, consistency, analysis, and then getting. And one big thing it actually is environment too. What I would say, like I'm out in Marbella here. I'm currently in AST's office. There's a number of like entrepreneurial guys out here, sales guys, agency guys, and I'm around them and we're bouncing off each other. So environments, when you're starting out, everyone starts off in their own local hometown. So you got to go through that phase where you're doing the thing that no one else is doing. That's, Chris Winston calls it the lonely chapter, where like you're thinking ahead of your current friendship group, but you're not at a certain rate that you can get your new friendship group. So everyone goes through that phase. So slog that out. But then once you kind of get to a certain level, then try and get yourself in environments, because especially back home, it's like I could easily stay back home and be a big fish in a small pond, rub my hands and think, I've made it. I'm making more than my peers and whatever else. But like that's not. I like being in rooms where I'm the brokest in the room, and I'm like, oh, I gotta be making more money. You know what I mean? Like I want to be around rooms like that, or people at least see people on the same level, and you can bounce off ideas and stuff. But environments we shouldn't really pick on or cover in this podcast, but environment's key as well.
I was definitely the same as well. I was never surrounded by people who were kind of doing better than me. And then when I went to the Dublin event hosted by A Players and Affinity, I was around these people and I was like, what? Like these people were making, to me, it was a lot of money, 10, 15K a month, and they thought they were broke. They thought they were broke, and I'm like, oh my God, like how is this 19-year-old guy who's making more than some people who are 50 would make, and he's thinking he's broke. And when you're in rooms like that, you're like, okay, now something has to change. I have to get better.
And I've mentioned Finn a couple of times, the videographer, like even the numbers I'm saying, he's like wow at them, and I'm like that's bare minimum. And that's just like this. That's the environment you're in, and that's just like if you're hanging around with certain people and you're used to like X amount of salaries, then you get to another room where that salary is someone's monthly wage, and you get to another room where that salary is someone's day, and then you get to another room where that salary is just their hour. Like, just the whole things always move.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good to be, and as I said, like I'm not necessarily money driven, but like even people that are super successful financially, they're great leaders, and back to that person you become, they have so many facets to their person that you admire. So you want to become, as I said, I don't. It's not about the $1 million. It's about the person you become. So yeah, it's about building up your body to where you get there. But yeah, constantly going to higher rooms. And the thing is too, is like you might sometimes be going to certain rooms and feel like embarrassed, like I don't deserve to be here. But as long as you've got the right attitude, people will mess with you. Like even like the highest, like people might see someone who's like super rich or super famous, and like, oh, I don't want to bother them, don't ask them a question. People love being asked questions. Like, oh, I'll see you on this here, and I'm starting out, whatever. Could you and ask good questions? Don't ask like generic questions. Not that it matters. You want to get a better answer to your situation. But people love, so get into better rooms and ask questions, and then like that, even that sort of thing about manifestation, that's proximity too. You're close to people that are where you want to be, so you can start like feeling it, tasting it, smelling it. But yeah, now getting in the right rooms, the amount of like connections and hires you can get from like your personal network, it's huge. So yeah, obviously there's going to be that period to start where you're on your own and get that level. But once you can kind of get around better environments, even that Dublin event, for example, that was great. I was there myself. Get into them events, whatever events you can go to, put your name out there, put your face out there. Like even I have a client, Stephen. He built Patrick Bet Davis gym. He's best mates with Hermosi. He supplies gym equipment, like all the big famous names. And he used to go to like Mr. Olympia events, and like he'd have business cards. He'd be handing out, and he actually really broke down networking for me, which is pretty smart. Like it's like people's like, what is networking and stuff? And he's like, so what you do is like you might see someone who you respect in the event, and you say, like, hi, my name's Hugh, I'm 17, 18, I've got this agency, but respect what you do, whatever else. And you might have a 30-second interaction, then you see them the second time. It's like a 2-minute conversation. Like, yeah, I've hit my first milestone, whatever else. I see you're doing this. Say, okay. Then the next time you see it's like a 5-10 minute conversation, and then the next time was like an hour. well, what about your mother? What about your whatever? And then the 10th interaction, before you know it, he's like a business partner or he's a client. But you never think about it systematically. Like, but that's what it is. It's like you go to these events and you introduce yourself, and it's a name to the face. It's like, and then you see him like, oh, I seen you at the last event, didn't I? And you're building that up. Myself, like, whenever I was like, I never really heard someone break down networking like that, but that is what it is. It's like even I'll meet people, and it's just a name. It doesn't mean to hunt you then, but you'll see them somewhere else. Like, I met you at that one club, or I met you at that event, and then it just builds the relationship. As time goes on. So yeah, your environment's huge.
One thing I've learned as well is people will get you into rooms that money can't, and your connections will get you so far, way further than any amount of monetary can get you. I want to ask you one last question, Fergus. I really enjoyed this. If me and you were to die today, what is one last piece of advice that you would leave for the younger generation?
It's a deep question. What advice would I give? I don't know, try and mix a couple of things. I probably think of like a better answer, like in the shower later on. I should have said that.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose, whatever endeavor you choose, strive to be the best at it. God's blessed you with specific talents and skills that you can do better than others, and it can be whatever skill. It doesn't have to be education. It can be whatever, and use them skills to serve the world. That's what I would say.
Amazing. Well, Fergus, I've really enjoyed this. I've gained a lot. Thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Really enjoyed the conversation. You keep doing what you're doing. Stay consistent. Hopefully, might hop on maybe in a year's time, couple of years' time, have like a second episode. But yeah, no. Seeing the speakers you've had on, you're doing a great job, especially for how young you are. Respect what you're doing, and yeah, pleasure to be on.